Hi everyone. So I recently got this S21 FE 5G against all the judgment and criticism. Yes, I think this is not the best value phone right now because S21 is similarly priced to this, and you can also get S20 FE 5G with Snapdragon processor, which is quite cheaper than this on sale. But I still think this is not as bad as you might think. When I took it out of the box, I was happy and a little bit sad at the same time. First of all, I ordered the graphite version because I think the pastel color looks a little bit more plasticky. The reason I was happy because this phone felt a lot lighter and slimmer, and after using the Pixel 6 with that 6.4 inch, this phone felt more doable. The reason I was kind of sad because I was expecting it to be a little bit more premium, but it's not. But the fan edition S phone is all about that. You get the flagship experience and by cutting some small corners, and this phone is all about that. Let's talk about the improvements and differences between this year Fan Edition and last year Fan Edition. So last year Samsung did cut a lot of corners. I mean S20 FE 5G wasn't equally great as their flagship brother because the display was not good. This has the dynamic AMOLED, but that display was not bright enough and the HDR performance on that display was not great. There was some ghost issues as well. Because of that, a lot of people did not buy that phone. This does not have any of those issues. Also, the display design is much better. You can see it's edge to edge, at least from above, and there's a little bit chin, but last year design was more boxy. So I think in terms of looks and display, it's a huge upgrade. Even though the camera sensors are same, but because of the new ISP, the image quality has been improved. But I will talk about the camera a little later. Another doubt that people have that this is quite similarly priced to S21 series. See, you can get S21 around the similar price. And yes, that phone is a better buy in some aspects, but here's the deal. I did not get the S21 because of the smaller battery size. Yes, on paper it is supposed to last full day, but it doesn't. So I had to go for S21 Plus. So if you compare this phone with S21 Plus, I think S21 Plus is a little bit expensive. So in that regard, this phone seems like a decent value. You do not lose a lot of stuff. And if you compare it with S21, you get a little bit bigger battery with actually not so much heaviness. So in that regard, I think there's some upgrade over this, but yes, S21 is a better phone. But if you compare this with S21 Plus, I think it's going to be a decent deal. There are four areas where this phone lags behind the S21 series: the build quality, the fingerprint sensor, the haptic motor, and the cameras. Let's talk about that. When it comes to build and design, this phone does not feel as premium as S21 Plus because of the little thick chin and plastic back. Yes, S21 also has plastic back, but somehow this one looks a little bit less premium and feel less premium. But if you are using a case, it should not matter, and in fact the lightweight than S21 Plus might be a plus for you. It also doesn't have that 3D fingerprint sensor, but Samsung is using optical fingerprint sensor here. 3D fingerprint sensor is a little bit more secure, but actually it's not a big deal because this works really fine. And I think Samsung has come a long way in terms of their fingerprint sensor, even if it's 3D or optical. I think the biggest con here is the haptic motor. Yes, it does not feel premium at all after coming from S21 series or even using iPhone. This feels like a little bit more mid-range phone. I mean, the vibration motor is like thr thr, not like a smooth feedback that you get from a better phones like iPhone or the flagship series phones. So in that regard, I think this feels a little bit mid-range device. And the last section is camera, and honestly I don't see any real light difference. Yes, it has the same color issues like S21 Plus, but overall it's a very capable camera. You only lose 8K recording, which I don't think anyone uses anyway. But I find this camera equally capable. It has good dynamic range and good colors. Telephoto lens also works as sort of a macro, and you can record 4K 60 frames per second from front and back. But I will do more testing on camera, and I might also compare it with my 13 mini, so stay tuned for that. For the software part, you might actually get one extra year of software update because this comes with that Android 12 with One UI 4. You also get all the features of Android 12, but the redesign is not as dramatic as the Android 12 on Pixel phones. But you get that changing the color palettes with the wallpaper. I did see some widgets improvement over here and there, but it's not a major redesign from Samsung. I did face one issue twice in this phone. When I was charging it, the screen refresh rate dropped to somehow 30 Hz or somewhere less, so it was very choppy. And another when I was installing some application and somehow it happened the same. But after unlocking and locking it fixed, I was not able to recreate it, so I can't show you right now. But that is something I noticed. See, I can't really comment on the battery right now because it's been only one day that I'm using this phone, so I will talk about that later. But apart from that, I get good Wi-Fi reception. This is Wi-Fi 6. You get good quality 4G aggregation. Everything works perfectly fine on this. For the speaker, they are quite loud and clear, but I think they lack some bass. Listen to this. Last but not the least, whether you should buy it or not. See, we don't have Pixel 6 to compare with this phone, so that's out of the picture. Yes, I know S22 is going to be releasing soon, but if it's going to be the same price or the increased price as last year, that was starting from 70,000 rupees and this is 50,000 rupees. So the pricing might not be worse right now. I will still say you should definitely wait for S22 series. You might see some price cut in S21 series, but I'm not hoping for a big price cut because last year it was the main problem of Exynos 990, but this year Exynos 2100 which we get here is not as bad, and I'm not really sad about not getting a Snapdragon 888 because that chip also has a lot of issues, so I wouldn't worry about that as I've been using it for just 24 hours. So as of now, I can't really comment like how it's going to perform for the long term, but I've used S21 Plus for a long time. I've used S21 Ultra as well. It did heat a little bit, but I think over the time it has been improved a lot. So don't worry about that. I'm going to talk about the battery and the performance more in the review, so stay tuned for that. And in case you want to ask me any question, you can ask in the comment box or you can follow me on Twitter. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.